So yesterday I'm watching Steven Crowder's new video, something about trans kids. Pretty good video, but at the end of the video, he mentioned that family is the foundation of society, and that's a conservative talking point that you frequently hear. But this is one that I believe with all my heart and soul. I'm a new father myself, and I truly believe this. But then I got to thinking about Crowder. Well, Crowder is a guy that doesn't have a family, and he refuses to start a family. Now, why doesn't Crowder have kids? That's a question that people have been talking about lately. Owen Benjamin's been doing this thing during his streams where he started this thing that Crowder's gay, and that's why he doesn't have kids, because Crowder's a homosexual. And Crowder's wife, Crowder, if you don't know this, he's been married for 7 years. He's supposedly this devout Christian guy. His wife wants kids, but he won't give her kids. Why is that? And so everyone's laughing, having a good time. This is generally considered a joke that Crowder's a homosexual. Most people don't believe this, though lately Owen Benjamin's presented some very incriminating evidence. And then I go to Instagram today, and this is what I see. What? It's like Crowder's trying to prove that he's not a homosexual by posting one of the gayest looking photos ever. And supposedly this guy even had a thinly veiled threat to sue Owen Benjamin for defamation. But come on. What's going on here, Crowder? Come on. But if you read the comments on this photo, they're absolutely gold. They're funnier probably than anything that Crowder's ever done in his life. But why doesn't Crowder have kids? If we're just going to assume, as most people are, that that's just kind of a joke and we're just all having fun with poking fun at Crowder. If that's just a joke, why doesn't this guy have kids? A devout Christian guy that's been married for 7 years and whose wife wants kids? Well, the general theory is that Crowder's so focused on his career and he feels that the work he's doing is so important that kids would hold him back from doing that. But let me tell you this, as someone that's speaking from experience here, there's probably no work that you can be doing that's more important than starting a family and having kids, especially if it's just making YouTube videos, because your audience, they can come and go. Google can mess with the algorithm of YouTube, and they can make it so people don't see you. They can demonetize you, and it's like you're building a house on sand that someone else owns. And here's the thing, as someone that's been doing YouTube longer than Crowder, I can tell you that sometimes people, they just lose interest in the type of content that you do and they move on, and that's normal and that's okay. But if you're going to dedicate your life to serving those people and have that be your master, man, that's a hamster wheel that's very hard to get off. You can't just make your life about that. But I want to tell you, as the viewer that's listening to this, don't get caught up into that my work is so important, my career is so important, or the attitude that most people have of everything has to be perfect. I got to have some more money. I got to be more secure before I start having kids, because that day might never come. And I'm speaking from experience here. I'm not talking as someone that's done everything perfectly right. And in Crowder's example, his wife is getting old. He's aging his wife. It's going to make it harder for her to conceive. If they do want to have children, it could possibly become harder, or the pregnancy could become harder, and there's an increased risk of miscarriage, and that it's like a whole road that you don't want to go down. And I kind of did this myself because I thought what I was doing was important. I was having a lot of fun. I got caught up in that. But as someone that's a new father myself, I'm like, one of the biggest mistakes I think I've made in my life is waiting to become a dad. And if you watch the channel Red Elephants, the best video on that channel is talking about having kids. This is a guy that he had his first kid at age 20, and he doesn't regret it, and he kind of planned it that way. But he has a very interesting video about that. But I did more the Crowder route, and I'm telling you as the viewer, that's not something you want to do. And Crowder is enjoying life here in his swimming pool. Presumably that's his house swimming pool. Apparently, it's funny. I saw one comment on this thing saying that this is what the money from Mug Club goes to go buy worthless things like this big inflatable unicorn. And it's funny too because here you have me. I'm a smaller creator a little bit. My hair is actually, I just went swimming myself in the pool. That's why my hair is all wet and slicked back. But this is an apartment swimming pool. We have a beautiful swimming pool actually where we live, but I'm paying $300 a month rent, and then I go to the apartment swimming pool. I'm not living as lavish as lifestyle as Crowder. I don't have Crowder's money, so if he's waiting for the perfect time or having enough money, this guy has far more money than the average person is going to have. And I'm not trying to tell you guys don't support this guy through Mug Club, or don't support independent creators like me through Patreon or PayPal, because I'm very appreciative of the support that people give me so I can keep bringing you guys videos. And that's certainly better than just supporting corporate stuff, going to the new Avengers movie and blowing a ton of money with the family to see that, going and spending money on these corporations that are actually working against your best interests. But I was also thinking about Crowder, who claims to be this devout Christian, and something in my life after becoming a father, since it's such a spiritual experience, and now I have this newfound interest in faith and dedicating my life to that. But before that, I didn't really care that much about religion one way or another. I was very casual about it. I like some aspects about it. I recognize that a lot of people drew on faith for power and strength, especially in difficult times. But my attitude was, for the most part, I didn't really see the point in religion. I didn't really have any interest in being a Christian. But then when I had a kid, I had a whole new perspective, and it got me thinking after becoming a kid and getting interested in religion, can one truly be a Christian without having children? And I'm not saying this to knock anyone that can't have children because of whatever kind of physical problems, but having a child, it changes your perspective so much, and just the way you think about life and spirituality and just everything in the world. It gives you, you're looking at the world through totally new eyes. But that's something that I've often thought about since becoming a father. Can you truly be a Christian without being a parent? And what's even the point of being married if you're not going to have kids? That's to have a family. Otherwise, you might as well just do whatever. So why doesn't Crowder have kids? Most people, if they don't think he's gay, which the more and more evidence is presented, the more you're starting to think that that's real. But if we're just going to assume that that's a joke, that's just kind of gotten out of hand, this idea that so many people have, my work is so important, or I got to have the right amount of money, everything has to be just perfect. If you wait till things are perfect, that day's not going to come. And one of my advocacies for other people is, don't wait for things to be perfect. Yeah, ideally you want to have somewhat of a stable job or career, and if you wait, that might never come. So you just got to take the plunge. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And if you do become a dad, you're going to be an old dad. You might not even be around to see your grandchildren. When you're a dad, you might not have the energy to raise your kids and do stuff with them. It's funny too, a lot of people think that if I become a dad, if I have a wife and kids, it's going to prevent me from excelling in other areas of life. And that could be true, because being a father, being a husband, it takes a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. But I was watching some old wrestling matches on YouTube. I was watching these University of Iowa wrestling matches. And in the early to mid 90s, one of the best college wrestlers, he was a guy named Lincoln McIlravy. And what's interesting about him, I found out, was this guy, like as a sophomore, junior in college, I think as a sophomore, he already had a wife and kids already while he's wrestling. And I can't imagine, because I know what it takes to do that sport, I can't imagine having babies, having to get up, change diapers, feed them, and then get up, do a hard workout, go to school all day, then do a hard wrestling practice. And this is a guy that won three Division I national wrestling championships and was a runner-up once. And then in the year 2000, I think he took a bronze in the Olympics in freestyle wrestling. And clearly it didn't hold this guy back. And then I did some research on Lincoln McIlravy, and of course, as you'd kind of expect, being married with kids at such a young age, he's a devout Christian. Now he's a successful businessman. He runs these hotels. So that shows you that having a wife and having a kids, it doesn't have to be an excuse to keep you from achieving things. It doesn't have to be something that holds you back. What that guy did is simply incredible, and that guy did it with a wife and kids all along. So pretty impressive, but don't be a Crowder. I did some other videos about this guy before I go. Be sure to check those out and enjoy some of the other videos on this channel. Until next time.